Age Joyfully is a sisterhood movement to empower women to embrace life and age, and to live joyfully. In this youth-obsessed culture, most commercials suggest that older women are feeble victims, with fear-based messages that are damaging, and negatively cause women to fear growing older, feeling discontented and restless as they struggle with aging. Ms. Ruby Sear begs to differ that old is a lost youth. She is passionate to share and to inspire women through this monthly Age Joyfully talk show, together with other like-minded women, to encourage women to be proud of their age. She believes that as we age, we grow into a deeper kind of beauty that is a culmination of wisdom, discernment, and life experiences. Let us now join Ms. Ruby Sear, who is hosting today of Age Joyfully talk show. Dedicated to women, this program is brought to you by Bobel Swiss Skincare.
So welcome to the Age Joyfully talk show episode 3. This Age Joyfully movement, in fact started by me, is created for women to get together to talk, empower and encourage each other. So Roshan, don't feel left out, even though I say it's for women, all right? For certain topics we do want to include our male counterparts, yeah? So by connecting with each other, we can build a better life for all, supporting and inspiring in terms of more quality life and psychological development. So as you know, today our topic is on healthy relationships. Yeah, why did I choose this topic? Because I feel for my concept of Age Joyfully, having healthy relationships is very important, right? Because healthy relationships bring joy, happiness, and life satisfaction. It is important for psychological well-being and also mental health. And you know, when one is caught in a very negative relationship, you can imagine the mental torment, the torture, and the anxiety that you might suffer. So my movement on Age Joyfully, besides giving them healthy skin caring solutions, I feel that healthy relationships can also help you to have healthier body and hence better skin. And today, I have the honor of having two special guests who have the authorities based on their life experiences and knowledge to share their thoughts and wisdom about healthy relationships. And my first guest is Hannah Patricia Low. Yeah, Hannah, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Hannah, a love and relationship coach. What better person to share on today's topic, yeah? So she has a gift of activating all that is powerful in women. She's known for her compassionate and heart-led approach to spirituality and women's wellness. She's a teacher, speaker, and guide for women in the midst of transformational change, and coaches women on love and relationships. Her mission is to reveal the power and wisdom of womanhood in today's culture through a deeper understanding of our bodies, relationships, and the way we communicate. Yeah, so, and as I said, because today's topic is on healthy relationships, so it has to be sometimes men and women, right? So that's why we have today also invited a male counterpart for us women to know and to understand what are the men's thoughts and feelings about healthy relationships. Yeah, so we have this handsome man here, Roshan Thiran. Roshan has been recognized as a thought leader in the space of leadership and transformation. He has also been invited as a keynote speaker in numerous conferences across the world. Roshan is a founder and CEO of Leaderonomics, an award-winning social enterprise. Wow! He believes that everyone can be a leader and make a dent in the universe. So in their own special ways, he has grown Leaderonomics from an NGO into one of the best brands in leadership development and training across Southeast Asia. So he has also been instrumental in driving talent management processes across Asia, as well as won numerous awards in businesses, HR, leadership development, including a HR award, a global HR award, and the Malaysia HR Leader Award. Yes, to be in the position of HR, human relationship, and definitely, he knows a lot about how to strike up a good relationship, a positive, healthy relationship. That's why we have Roshan to join us today. Yeah. So without further ado, yes, I would like to pose a few questions for the two honorable guests. Yeah. The first question is, how do you define relationship?
Yeah, I can go first. I like to really simplify it, like super simplify it, and really just say relationship is simply an experience of myself through another, an experience of another person through myself. That's it. That's right. It's simply, what am I experiencing in this moment? Like even just right now, with Ruby and Roshan, what am I experiencing of myself in this moment? And what am I experiencing, of you? Through like being able to feel, being able to understand, just being able to sense and be present. So that's really it.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I look at it. You say feeling. I mean, I always term it as a connection. It's a connection between individuals, or a connection between, sometimes you can have a relationship with a memory, with the past. I mean, so, and that kind of lingers. And I think, when we look at the transaction analysis, a lot of grief type work, we see the inability to let go of a relationship of the past. It's essentially a memory that you're holding on to. I look at it as a connection, a bond that a person has with either another persons or things, essentially.
Yeah, well said. Yes, it's true. So how well you have defined relationship, yeah? So because you see, we always take relationship, this word for granted, but we do not know what it is. So you have actually defined it very well, yeah? Between, you and another person, how you're connected. So that's why sometimes when you meet someone, we say there's a chemistry strike, right? Immediately, you love the person. That's why there's this love at first sight, right? So the relationship, is like instantaneous. There's some people, they just have that aura, they're able to attract, to get people connected to them, right? Yeah. So then how do you look for in a friendship? Yeah. What do you look for in a friendship?
So I think, when you talk about, I think when we look at that relational piece, I think many times we, when I look at it, there's a relationship can be an acquaintance, meaning you connect with somebody and you're aware of them. But for it to really grow and go to the next level, and friendship to me, it goes deeper, right? It's not just an acquaintance, or not just what I call an attachment. It goes into a bond, right? It's about developing this deep bond. You share things, and this is again, it can be shared a whole bunch of things, right? Shared memories, shared this, shared. There's something that is connecting you guys. So we have a lot of colleagues in the office. That's just an attachment, right? To get to the next level, and it's very interesting, right? We study a lot employee engagement, and they say the more engaged an employee, the more likely they're to stay, more productive they are, and so on. But research tells you that as long as you have one good friendship, right? In an organization, you may have colleagues, right? You may have many attachments, but once you develop it into a bond, right? Then I think you are very likely not to leave the organization, and that actually that bond is very deep and enables you to to go through and weather difficult moments because you have that something deeper than something just an attachment. So I look at friendship as one step down. It's a bond, a bonded relationship where you not just connect, but there's different shared experiences or shared moments or shared, many, and you can, and there's a whole list of laundry list of things like that. All right. So to me, it's there, right? And also, when there's a separation, right, to that bond, it becomes grief, right? So many times when a colleague that leaves, or it's not a bond, right? So it's just a disattachment. But when there's a bond that's broken, right, then that's where grief comes in, right? So when you lose a friend, when you get into this whole grief of having to mourn and let go, which happens with friendships, like, and these real meaningful friendships.
Right. Yes. Okay. Let's hear from Hannah.
Yeah. I love that how we everyone thinks and sees things differently, and it's always so good to hear a different perspective. When I think about friendships, from the kind of friendships that I used to have and how they have evolved over the years, what I realize is that before I would kind of just fall into friendships, and not really, I would think that I am choosing something based on what I think that I want. But most of the time, what would happen is that, we're drawn to people a lot of the times because of a familiarity with something that we've experienced before, whether it's, a sister relationship that we've had in our childhood, a brother relationship, even like, a parental relationship, we can actually experience that through our friendships. So what I realized is, as I've sort of unraveled and tried to understand, what I look for in a friendship, it's actually that I've shifted it around and I've asked myself, how do I create the friendships that I want? Right? Instead of, because a lot of people go out going, I want this kind of a relationship, I want this kind of a friendship, right? I'm looking for someone to bring a certain experience to me that I don't feel that I can create for myself. And so what I have, learned is that it's actually turning things around and going within and asking, okay, what do I have to show up as in order to create the kind of friendship that I want, right? So for me, it's like openness, vulnerability, honesty, a willingness to grow and evolve, right? And to look at things that may be difficult in the moment, a willingness to have truthful, maybe difficult conversations, and also like to share opinions that may not be like always the same, right? But to learn from each other through having different perspectives. So, these days, I don't limit what the scope of friendship, should or shouldn't look like. For some people, it's I meet them for an afternoon and I have a beautiful experience that feels like I've a deep friendship, and I may never see them again, and I still value that as friendship. Yeah. For others, it may be something more surface level, but there's still, I feel like, as I go into the world, I'm constantly, how can I be open to whatever is presented to me and offer a space of, like the space that I would want to feel, right? Openness, connection, vulnerability, accountability, taking responsibility for myself. So some of the things that these days, like I just see as like an observer, right? Somebody who may gossip a lot, someone who may put others down, right? A lot, someone who may have only place their values on material things, on status, right? So I become just a bit more aware of that. And then I ask myself, is this a space that I really want to like spend a lot of time in if a person doesn't want to see beyond that? Right? So, I mean, that's kind of how I look at friendships and how I go into, just the dynamic of just a relationship with someone on a friendship level. Yeah.
Well said. Yes, to me, same thing, because, if I meet anybody, I just open mind. Yeah, because to me, everyone is beautiful. Yeah, it's me and not necessarily we have the same interest. So, if we have share the same interest, same passion, then maybe we can develop a little bit deeper, in our friendship. Yeah, so if not, then we can be just very pleasant, you know, acquaintances or friends, occasional calls to each other. Yeah, so yeah, very well said. And my third question is, there's a saying, best relationship is where yesterday's fight, you know, especially husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, okay? Yeah, where yesterday's fight does not stop today's communication. How to make it possible? It's hard, right? Especially when you get into an argument, you know, with someone, you know, you like, or your friend, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, girlfriend, you know. So how to, you know, people say, you know, before the sun sets, you know, you must resolve all this, right? So that you can have a good night's sleep, right? But how to make it possible? I know a lot of people go to, you know, they fight and then go to bed and then they just facing, you know, opposite direction, right? So how to make it possible?
Yeah. I mean, my cat wanted to join. Oh, there she is.
Okay, your cat has something to share.
She wants to be part of the whole thing. So I'll go ahead if that feels good. I mean, this obviously is one of those questions that actually there's a much longer answer than I could probably give in a short amount of time, right? That would be effective. When I work with couples or when I work with individuals, this always comes up, right? Arguments are like the center, like how do we move through arguments? Because so much of the time, like you said, we don't know how to navigate through the tough stuff, and then we hold on and we become resentful, and then we close off and we withhold our love, right? And then we can't get past that. We can't let go. So just for now, I'll kind of break it down to 3 simple steps so it's sort of something that the viewers can take away with them, you know. And again, it's, you know, there's no sort of what I call it, short-term, quick kind of like results with this sort of thing. This is something that you have to work on time and time again. And, you know, I do really advise, you know, with people who are struggling with this, that you work with and talk to a specialist, because there's so many subtle nuances, right, that go on in just one simple moment of an argument. So the first step, I would say, is to focus on yourself, right? So, you know, in the middle of an argument and you're like, you should have said, you know, he should have done this. She didn't say that, you know, didn't say this right. I told you to do this, but you didn't do this right. And you should be saying, sorry, I don't like your tone. So there's so much focus on the outside, right? And until you bring the focus within, like, nothing can shift. So the first step I always tell people is stop blaming, stop putting the responsibility on the other person, and it's like taking your power back, right? Because you're giving that person all the responsibility and power to make things better for you. So I say, step 1, focus on yourself, take things back. Step 2, I say, get out of your head, because often so much of the suffering that we experience is going over, you know, like, why didn't they do this? They should have done this. That person is wrong, right? I'm right. They're wrong, right? And then we get just in this, like, this spin of all this suffering, just holding on to stuff in our head. So I always say the second thing is get out of the analyzing, right? Get out of your head. And then the third thing I say is that you have to feel, because whatever is coming up is pretty much never something that is new. It's always something that is unresolved from the past. So we always think it's like, oh, the argument is about because he didn't do this, right? He didn't take out the laundry, you know, he didn't prioritize me, she didn't do this, right? We think it's that simple, but it's really never about that thing. It's always something deeper of like, I don't feel loved, I don't feel safe, I don't feel understood, I don't feel accepted. So until we go in, like, third step, to feel the hurt, to feel the upset, then we, you know, then we're not able to really shift. And so I always say those 3 steps, because it's fully taking responsibility and giving yourself, putting yourself in the driver's position to release whatever stuff has come up, and then and letting it go, and then, you know, having conversation. But this is like I don't know, as much as I can shorten it.
Yeah, I know, because of the time factor, because Hannah is, is in a very good position to share because she's into love and relationship, right? Yeah. So when we have got opportunity, definitely we will engage you again for a longer session. Okay, so let's hear from our gentleman.
Yeah, so I'm not no way a relationship expert, especially when it comes
But you
to
can use
marriage
our
and stuff.
HR principle.
Yeah, I mean, so in an organizational setting, but I mean, I think
Yeah.
I wanna reiterate. I think those are fantastic points, and one of the things a couple, maybe just to add to a couple of things that we can think about. I think one of the things I always do when we have issues, whether it's with a friend or with a colleague or whether with your wife or spouse, is first remember the identity of that person. Because I think when we first connected with the person, there was trust, there was respect, there was when we first became friends, or we bonded with that person, there was an identity that was transferred, that was attractive to us, that enable us to connect and build and want to build that deeper bond and want to spend time. That's the other piece in relationship. We want to spend time. We want to give that. And now at this point in time, there is a problem, and there seems to be a conflict. And I think where you do is you remember that identity, and then I think you go to the next step of really. And this one we learn when we do like negotiation or hostage. When a hostage taker puts a gun at your head and says, I want to take you hostage, right?